Scott McLean with the CAL FIRE Report for Monday, August 5th, 2019. Last week, again, firefighters across the state battled over 260 new fires, with 217 of those burning within CAL FIRE's jurisdiction. Taking a look at our state so far this year, you can see that we still looking at substantially fewer fires and acres burned this year at this time compared to last year. I mean, look at this, just under 23,000 acres compared to over 615,000 acres last year. But it's important to note that a major factor in the reduction of fire activity so far this year has been due to the large amount of snowpack that we received over the winter and the weather patterns in general. However, as we move deeper into the summer, that snowpack is melting off. In fact, at this point, most, if not all, of the snow is below 7,500 feet has actually melted off. What all this means is that the vegetation in those higher elevations is now beginning to rapidly dry out, which will significantly increase the potential for new, larger fires in the upper elevations. Taking a look at our statewide fire map, you can see that there are currently 9 active significant fires burning from up north in Siskiyou County all the way down to San Diego County. But keep in mind that most of those fires are not CAL FIRE incidents, but rather are fires that we are assisting with other agencies with, actually. Several of those are on the National Forest land, and you can find more information on those incidents by visiting the U.S. Forest Service's website called InciWeb at inciweb.nwcg.gov. As far as within CAL FIRE's jurisdiction, there are currently 2 active significant fires. The first is called the Gilbert Fire in Shasta County. That fire started yesterday evening in Palo Cedro, east of Redding off of Highway 44. The Gilbert Fire has grown to 30 acres in total so far, but as of this morning, firefighters have it at 60% contained. Now, there were also evacuations involved in this fire as well. And in Contra Costa County, firefighters have been battling the marsh complex over the past couple of days. The marsh complex consists of multiple fires that sparked in the very early hours on Saturday morning and actually rapidly grew to just over 750 acres. Firefighters currently have the marsh complex at 85% contained, with full containment expected tomorrow. You can see the territory that it burned in. Fairly easy to burn, very quick to burn. Switching over to our fire weather headlines for the week. We're expecting last week's hot, dry conditions to continue into the early part of this week. However, as we hit midweek on, we're expecting to see a substantial cooling trend, which will become a welcome sight. I think it's predicted to be about 84, 85 degrees in Northern California where I live. We could also see some gusty winds in the middle of the week in the desert in Southern California, as well as to the east of the Sierra Mountains in the north. That means, again, there is potential for large fire growth in those areas for any new fires that may start. This time of year, we like to remind residents and visitors alike to be arson aware. Actually, 95% of all our wildfires in the state are caused by humans, sometimes doing the right thing at the wrong time or making a mistake, accidental in most cases. While most of those are accidental, as I just said, around 6% of those are caused intentionally by individuals. Our law enforcement officers work diligently to investigate all fires and prosecute those suspected of starting those fires, if they did in fact do. And part of that process relies on tips and observations from individuals who may have observed suspicious activity near or at the origin of the wildfires. So what should you do if you see suspicious activity near a fire? Be sure to make a note of specific details if you can. Things like the location where you observed the suspicious behavior and the time that you observed it. Also, Make a note of the individual you observed. It's important to have as detailed a description as possible, including things like gender, approximate height and weight, a description of their clothing, whether it be short pants, long pants, hair color, and any distinguishing characteristics such as tattoos if you can see them. And if there are any vehicles involved, make a note as well, including things like the make and model of that vehicle, the color of the vehicle, the location and direction of travel. If you can get the license plate, so much the better. Bumper stickers or any other distinguishing markings on that vehicle, or how many occupants were in that vehicle as well. But I ask that you please be careful and do not approach the individual or individuals engaging in that suspicious behavior. Let law enforcement take care of that. To report the activity, you can call the CAL FIRE Arson Hotline at 1-800-468-4408. And for more information on reporting suspicious activity, as well as other tips, be sure to visit our website at fire.ca.gov. And that's the latest on the fire situation in California. But unfortunately, again, before we sign off, we want to take a moment to reflect about the events that took place over this last weekend. CAL FIRE sends our deepest condolences to the victims and their families in El Paso and Dayton, as well as our unwavering support for the first responders involved. I'm Scott McLean. Stay safe.